What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video here on the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another rebuild video. Today, we are going to be taking on an old faithful, the Cincinnati Bengals, but we're not going to be just doing a normal rebuild where we win a championship and then we're done. Yeah, we want to win a championship, but I want to save Joe Burrow's career. I want to make sure that Joe Burrow is not gonna retire early. And by the way that he was talking at the end of the year this past year, it kind of seemed like he might think about it. So I want to make football fun for Joe Burrow again. So I want to give him a defense. We are going to focus so heavily on the defense in this video that we are going to try to make it as good as we physically can. I mean, spending oodles of money, doling out draft picks to get maybe good players or trading draft picks to get established really good players. And I want to turn this Bengals team into what they're known for. Instead of being an offensive firehouse, I want the Bengals to be known for a good, unstoppable defense. And that's what we're going to be trying to do today. So if you go to enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Let's go save Joe Burrow's career and make football fun for him again. So here we are. It is the 2025 season, but we do have the updated free agency rosters. So every team has their up-to-date guys, even though it is still the previous season. I'm not sure how that's going to mess up like free agency with contracts and everything, but this is the up-to-date team. We got Jonathan Allen here. We've got everybody that you would expect. Let me go and generate the best lineup here. So I do want Shamar Stewart to turn into something. I think that would be a good idea if he develops into something pretty good. We saw Knight go into, is it Demetrius Knight? Is that his name? I think it's Demetrius, right? Yeah, Demetrius Knight. We saw him have a really, really good year, really good rookie year this past year in real life. So I think this team needs a little bit of help, obviously. The offense needs a little bit of help. Somewhere on the line, they need a little bit of help getting a tight end that's better than Mike Gesicki, younger maybe than Mike Gesicki. The offense in general is still pretty good, though. You've got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins, you got Chase Brown, Joe Burrow. Obviously, the weapons are fine. It's just a couple of pieces on the offense, but the defense is where we need to help. You need to get another corner other than DJ Turner. You need to get another edge rusher other than Shamar Stewart. No disrespect to Boye Mafe. He's just not in my long-term plans. He's 26. You know what? Maybe he could be in my long-term plans. You never know. I guess that's possible. We'll see how he develops. He could be in the long-term plans if he turns into a superstar. Need to get some better linebackers to pair alongside Demetrius Knight. Need to get some better safeties. Jordan Battle probably can stay around. But we need to make sure this defense is one of the best defenses in football if we want to turn this identity from an offensive powerhouse to a defensive powerhouse. I do have real draft class loaded in. So we've got Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese would be fantastic on this team. He would be perfect. I also wouldn't mind a Peter Woods. I wouldn't mind even an offensive lineman. I wouldn't mind Avian Terrell. Like, there's a lot of guys that the Bengals could use other than wide receiver. It's like and quarterback is like the only couple positions that we don't need. Getting Arvell Reese probably is priority number one. I don't know how this team's going to simulate. I did change the defensive playbook. We are no longer running, if I could find it. Where's it always at? Here it is. We are no longer running Bengals defense. We are running Seattle defense because I'm hoping that simulates pretty well. I'm not actually sure if that does simulate pretty well. I'm assuming it's going to simulate really godly in Madden 27 now that the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. But I don't know how it's going to simulate this year. I've seen the Seahawks play deep into the playoffs and even make a Super Bowl in Sims before, so I would assume they're pretty decent. But we'll see what the combination is. I have seen the Bengals simulate consistently pretty well individually, like for per player with stats and stuff, but actual team success doesn't really work. So maybe that Bengal offense compared with another defense, in this case being Seattle, maybe that will help us out actually simulating pretty well. So we're going to get through this first season, probably trade off some pieces that are a little bit older slash on the last year of their contract. Make sure that we need to get Arvell Reese. I think Arvell Reese and Shamar Stewart is the edge rushing duo that will take us to the top. So I'm going to try everything I can to get Arvell Reese. But I'm going to simulate this first season, see how the combination of playbooks does, see how Joe Burrow does. He's probably going to put up 45 to 5,000 yards, I would assume, in this Bengal offense. And then we'll go from there in the offseason. So I'll see you there. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure how it's going to affect like contract negotiations, everything with the new roster with the free agent signings. but I guess we'll find out. All right, so after the season, we go a very mediocre 9-8. Just no man's land is basically where we were. We don't make the playoffs, and we end up with Joe Burrow getting 4,500 yards. He almost had 4,600 yards, but he gets 1 yard short. Jamar Chase led the league in receiving yards. I'm assuming that's going to mean he's winning Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know if Joe Burrow is going to win the. No, there's no chance he wins MVP because Josh Allen had 4,500 yards and 49 touchdowns. They're going to give Josh Allen the MVP. All right, so we might win Offensive Player of the Year, but Joe Burrow is not winning the. He's not winning the MVP, unfortunately. Let's take a look at the stats, though, all-around stats. So Joe Burrow, we saw his numbers, 39 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's a very good season. But like I said, the Bengal offense just does not put up team numbers. Like, it doesn't simulate well as a team. It puts up individual numbers really good, at least for quarterback and receiver. Chase Brown has 12 touchdowns, 671 yards. That's fine. 2 1,000-yard receivers. Andre Yoshivas with 1,100 yards. Okay, I kind of assumed it would be T. Higgins, but I'm guessing Yoshivas was in the slot, and that's why he puts up 1,100 yards, but 12 touchdowns. That might be a star dev for him, if he's not already star dev. I don't think he is. He's got to be normal dev. Well, it's going to be a dev trade upgrade, I would assume. Jamar Chase, he's already an X Factor, I think, so it doesn't need to go up anymore. And then defensively, we see Barrett Carter, another big-time linebacking rookie. I forgot to mention Barrett Carter because I was focusing on Demetrius Knight and Shamar Stewart, but Barrett Carter, phenomenal year. I would love to not have to worry about middle linebacker and just have Barrett Carter be the guy. We'll see if that happens or not. But he had 162 tackles, 137 for Brian Asamoah. We had Dax Hill with 124. So the Seattle defense ends up getting a lot of tackles. I'm noticing that. 13 tackles for loss to Shamar Stewart. That's a huge season for him. He also led the team in sacks with 9.5. Jonathan Allen is 8.5. That's a guy, a prime trade candidate, packaged with a couple of draft picks. Maybe gets us somebody. Demetrius Knight put up 4.5. That's huge. Boye Mafe had 3.5. And then the interception numbers, Dax Hill with 5. DJ Turner with 4. I really want to see DJ Turner develop. I've seen him go crazy, like get X Factor, get like a high 90 overall corner. I've seen him go crazy in Sims, so I hope that's one of ours. Josh Newton, I'd love to see develop. Jordan Battle, obviously, I want to keep him as the safety, so hopefully he develops. But we currently had the 9th best offense in the league, and then we had the what defense? The 29th best defense. So we need to fix that. The defense, that is our main goal. Got to fix the defense, and the only way to do that is to get better players. The Arvell Reese draft pick becomes a little bit more difficult now that we're middle of the road. It's a Rams-Colts Super Bowl, really. A 3 versus 3. The Chargers were the 1 seed. That's not something you usually see. Usually it's the Bills or the Ravens or whoever. But the Rams and the Colts, both 3 seeds, playing in the Super Bowl. Kind of weird. Let's find out who's going to win it. And I got to take a look at these negotiations because I have not taken a look at all at the negotiations. I simulated the whole season. So Harrison Smith going to retire, which I think he retired in real life. Did he retire? I think he did. I don't know, actually, if he did or not. Let's take a look at the season recap. It was the Colts who won the Super Bowl, and Jonathan Taylor won the MVP. So they do give the MVP to Josh Allen. I called that. Puka Nacua wins the Offensive Player of the Year. Khalil Mack wins Defensive Player of the Year. Cam Scatabo, and Abdiel Carter. So both Giants winning the Rookies of the Year this year. What did Puka put up this year? He's not going to be in this because we're in the AFC. He's in the NFC. What did Puka put up that won him the Offensive Player of the Year? Because Jamar Chase's numbers were pretty solid. We had 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns. So I'm assuming he had more touchdowns. That's why. Because I know Madden loves to value touchdowns. So Puka, yeah, he had 19 touchdowns on 1,300 yards. That's why he won Offensive Player of the Year. He had 9 more touchdowns than Jamar. Which, honestly, I'd probably say Jamar takes MVP or takes Offensive Player of the Year. But hey, 19 touchdowns is kind of crazy. I can't really complain about that. Let's get to the offseason, though. Retirements, I don't think we have anybody. We shouldn't, at least. We don't have that many old people. We have Josh Johnson, who I think just signed a new contract with the Bengals, and he's here and he's retiring. And then, because I forgot this was updated so recently, and then Ted Karras retired. So we are going to have to find a new center, which I was going to find one anyway, but now we actually have to, or we're going to have a bum, and we don't want a bum playing. Okay, we have $95 million, and George Pickens says he's not coming back to Dallas. $95 million. Dax Hill wants to return. I think I do want Dax Hill back. Miles Murphy never turned into anything, and I don't think I want to take the time to try to get him to turn into anything. Though I do have money to bring him back if I want to. Let me get Dax Hill back for sure. It's going to be expensive for a guy that's 25 and only an 82, but if we don't bring him back, then we're left with Josh Newton as our second best player, and maybe that's not a bad thing, but I'd rather have Josh Newton as our third string, and then he develops into the second string after another year or two. We will accept the option on Miles Murphy. Cam Sample, I think we can find better backups than that, especially cheaper backups. Mitchell Tinsley's gone. Asamoah, he was fine, but we have Barrett Carter. We don't need a linebacker like him. Dalton Reisner at guard, we could find somebody better. Yeah, everybody else we don't need to waste money on. So I'm going to move to free agency, not the coaching carousel. We're going to move to free agency. And maybe we'll find some pieces on defense to help us out. We have $81 million in available room to make things happen. Here is George Pickens. He got 17 offers. There's Stephon Diggs, Joel Bitonio, J.K. Dobbins, Bobby Okereke. You know what? It's not that great of a free agency class. Quarterback. I'm guessing Daniel Jones was the quarterback of that Colts team, and he's just in free agency now. We don't need a running back. I think we're fine with Chase Brown, unless I trade Chase Brown for an even better running back. We're not going to find that in free agency. Wide receiver, I wouldn't hate going after a guy like George Pickens. It's just paying that much money for a third string wide receiver doesn't really make much sense, especially when we had Yoshivas go as crazy as he did. Actually, you know what? That reminds me. Let's take a look at depth trade increases. I forgot to do that. Did Yoshivas go up? Yoshivas is a star dev player now, so we don't really need to waste money on paying a running back or a wide receiver who's going to be a third string when we have... Actually, he'd probably be he'd be the second string because T. Higgins is lower overall than him. And then on defense, Barrett Carter does not get a dev trait, which is unfortunate, but I think he can be the guy for us. We need another corner, I think. We have Newton, but I think we need another corner. Awuzie, Kobe Durant. The corner room is not really as good as I wanted it to be. Safeties, none of these guys are better than what we have. Same for the strong safeties. What about linebackers? This class just isn't really hitting it where it needs to hit it. We might just end up saving our money. That might be our best option, because I am not really feeling any of this. I do need a center, though. It might have to be Ethan Pochich just for the season. Joel Bitonio has 2 offers. Do I want to waste money on Joel Bitonio? Is that what I want to do? I don't really know where I want to go with this. I may spend some money on Joel Bitonio. I may give him like a 2-year deal. He pairs alongside Dylan Fairchild, maybe. That's expensive for a guy like Joel Bitonio, but he's good. We can always find his backup and trade him. And then at center, do I want to go for Connor? I think I might just take the cheaper option of Ethan Pochich. Just pay him a little bit of money. He wants to be here already. And then at least we don't have an absolute bum playing center for us. We're obviously going to be looking for a younger replacement anyway. All right, so we got the targeted guys. We're going to have 2 offensive linemen, which is really our 2 biggest needs on the offensive side. And we do end up getting Pochich, but we don't get Bitonio. He chose the Chargers. We gave him a better deal. George Pickens goes to the Chargers as well. Stephon Diggs is Miami, and Tyreek Hill is Green Bay. That's kind of crazy. All right, so we do end up getting Pochich, which is probably the one that I wanted the most, because Pochich, we needed a starting center. Although we do need a guard. But we have Rivers. Maybe he can do something. I don't know. We need to figure out how to get Arvell Reese is the biggest question. How we're going to do that. Ooh, how are we going to get Arvell Reese is the question. I'm not sure. Not sure at all. He's going to go top 5, maybe even 2. Or 1, I guess. There's always a possibility of that. And David Bailey is also a top 5 player as well. This is the first time I've used this class, so I have no idea what anybody's ratings are going to be. Jeremiah Love, I kind of want to learn about, because if I can't end up making the move, I would love to get Jeremiah Love. That'd be kind of sick. And we are looking for a tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. could be that tight end for me. Yeah, uh you can't have Slaughter because EA's gonna flag that, so that's how you spell his name. That's kind of funny. Is he gonna be any good though? Taking a center down the board might not be a bad idea. Keelan Rutledge, I kind of want to take a guard. We might have to take a left guard and then turn him into a right guard. That might be our smarter plan. But let's get to the draft. I want to take a look at that mock draft, see where they have everybody going. Mock draft number 5 has Arvell Reese going number 1 overall. All right, so Arvell Reese is probably off the table because trading up for the number 1 pick is really difficult. But trading up for the 4th overall pick is not as difficult. It's hard, but not as difficult. So I would definitely not hate that. Where is our pick even at? Our pick is at 12. They wants to take a corner, Jermod McCoy, who I've heard is really, really good. And I wouldn't hate that. We also have... Oh, no, that's not. That's the Browns. Duh. We have the 15th pick and Avian Terrell. I was going to say, why do we have 2 first-round picks? Because we're not the Browns. We're the Bengals. My bad. So at 15, which is middle of the pack, we could trade up 1 spot and get Kenyon Sadiq, who ends up being a top 5 talent. Okay. A top 5 talent in Kenyon Sadiq. So we know that top 5 talent Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, Jeremiah Love, who's the 5th top 5 talent. We know 4 of the 5 best players in the class. Trading up for 15 from 15 is going to be slightly difficult. But maybe I just trade up from 15 to 14 and take Kenyon Sadiq because we have been talking about getting rid of Gesicki, moving on from him, and having Kenyon Sadiq would probably be a good idea. But the tight end doesn't really get that much usage in the Bengals playbook. But that doesn't mean we're going to stay in the Bengal playbook the whole time, I guess. We're not locked into that playbook. I think Jonathan Allen has to be a part of a deal. I don't know if it's for the pick, but Luther Burden. Okay. Jacob Harris, Will Johnson, Joel Bitonio, Travis Kelce, Grover Stewart, Trey Amos. All right, so Jonathan Allen still got some good value. We can come away with a really decent player here. Nate Wiggins, really? And a 3rd? I may take the Nate Wiggins deal. That gives us another corner. Although there's some pretty decent offers in here. A lot of good corners. A lot of good players in general. I mean, Luther Burden would be crazy good. Kool-Aid with the superstar dev. And a 2nd round pick this year. It's probably going to be one of these 2. I think we bring in our corner that I've been looking for, that I've been asking for. It's just a matter of, do we want the higher overall with the lower dev trait, or do we want the lower overall with the higher dev trait, which he's probably going to reach Nate Wiggins quicker because he's got the higher dev trait, which means he gets more XP faster. And we get the 2nd round pick. I think because the 2nd round pick is a part of the deal, I think I'm going to take the Kool-Aid trade. So Kool-Aid McKinstry is a Cincinnati Bengal. We also get a 2nd round pick. We also get a 2nd round pick next year, which is pretty good. So we'll take that and utilize that possibly to trade up for Jeremiah Smith. That could be something. And then our cornerback room is now DJ Turner, who's an 85 overall. Dax Hill, who we just paid. Hopefully he can develop. And then McKinstry, we got Keicho Clark, I don't know. And then Josh Newton. Hopefully the cornerback room can turn into something, but I like Kool-Aid McKinstry here with the superstar dev. I think that's going to help us out. And then I think I am going to trade up from 15 with the Seahawks at 14 to get Kenyon Sadiq. I just think that's going to be our best move. I'd love to get Arvell Reese or David Bailey. I'm not really in the mood to trade a bunch of assets to get one player when I can trade up a little bit. I can trade up 1 spot and get a top 5 talent. and Kenyon Sadiq, which we are in a need for with the tight end position. So number one overall pick is Arvell Reese. It would have just been impossible to trade up for that. Malagoa goes to the Texans, then Fernando Mendoza goes to the Saints. Obviously, that's not how it's going to happen in real life. We see Ty Simpson going to the Steelers, Carnell Tate to the Jets, Cade McDonald going to the Raiders. Okay, so it's the familiar names you expect to go to the top, just not in the right order. And now we are here to take. Ooh, Caleb Downs is still on the board. Oh, God, there's so many good players in this class. Sonny Styles, CJ Allen, Caden Proctor. I mean, we need a guard. Caleb Downs is a freak. But Kenyon Sadiq. Oh, Caleb Downs is probably the other top five talent. I didn't think about that. But Sadiq, we know, is a top five talent. We need a tight end. He's elite at everything. We're going to take him. He's number 4 in the class. He looks amazing. And he's probably going to be an unbelievable player in real life. I really hope the Patriots take him, if we're being honest. Let's get to the second round and see what's available for us. Ooh, Slaughter went right before us. That would have been a nice second round pickup. I would have probably taken him. Okay, so Zachariah Branch is here. Boston. So a lot of wide receivers. Omar Cooper. I don't think Omar Cooper's making it to the second round. TJ Parker. Okay, that's an interesting one. I would not hate that. I did talk about needing another edge rusher. And that might be our option. Davison Igbenoson's still here. If Davison Igbenoson's in the third round, I may take him. But I think I'm going to go TJ Parker. We need that other edge rusher because I don't think Boye Mafe is going to cut it. And I might be able to trade Boye Mafe. And TJ Parker's got great stats. He looks like a good second round pick. So TJ Parker, welcome aboard. He's number 31 in true value. He's hidden dev. And he's going to be right there alongside Shamar Stewart. Into the third round now. Omar Cooper went to the Dolphins in the third round. That's certainly not going to happen. Elijah Surratt. Igbenosun is still available. Davison Igbenosun. I don't think he's a third round guy. He's probably a second round guy, if I'm being honest, in real life. I'm going to take him here. Need an extra corner. He's number 139 in true value. Really? You're going to be dogging Davis Igbenosun like that? All right. That's a little bit of a shocker. I didn't think they'd have him so low rated, but all right, whatever. If that's how you feel about Igbenosun. Elijah Surratt is still available. What's the offensive line look like? So Drew Aller's still available. Nick Singleton is still available. And Katron Allen. Both Penn State running backs are still available. I don't think that's going to happen. I think both of them go at least in the second or third round. Okay, I might come back for one of them. The offensive line. Parker Brailsford is still available. Is Parker Brailsfield going to be worth it in the fourth round? Probably not. It's either Parker Brailsfield or it's the running back Singleton. I think I'm going to take Parker. It's a fourth round pick. It's not the end of the world. He's a normal dev player. Probably could have passed on him, but it's whatever. It's whatever. We have Pochich. Surratt is still available. What? How bad is Surratt? So both of the running backs got taken. But Kalen Black I've heard good things about, so maybe I'd take him. The good thing is we don't need a running back. We have Chase Allen, but I was just kind of looking for somebody. Cade Klubnik still. Luke Altmaier. Let's see. How bad is Elijah Surratt? I gotta know. I'm gonna take him just out of pure curiosity. He's probably not supposed to be here. I mean, he's not horrible. I've seen way worse wide receivers. The 89 speed's kind of bad, but he doesn't have to be anything except for a fourth string wide receiver. So there's not really much pressure on him, especially in the fifth round. And then our final pick that I'm going to make, I'll let the CPU take the rest. I'm probably going to take a defensive tackle because we traded away Jonathan Allen. So out of all of these guys that are left, who looks the best? Zane Durant's got a couple A's in the power moves and finesse moves, which I like. I might go with him. But Chris McClellan is a little bit more well-rounded. He's got the block shed. He's got the tackling, all B's. But I'm kind of leaning towards Zane Durant. So Zane Durant, welcome aboard. He is 122. He has normal dev, but maybe he can turn into something. You never know. And then that'll be the rest of the draft that's all the draft that we do. Okay. So getting Kenyon Sadiq was priority number one once we pivoted uh, from the Arvell Reese idea. He ends up being an 81 overall, probably already better than Gesicki. Close. 77 for TJ Parker, 72 for Igbinosun, 70 for Brailsford. Surratt's a 72, so is Zane Durant. So all of my picks end up being okay. I mean, maybe I missed on the Brailsfield one, but it was a fourth round pick. And then we get a couple of bums in the back end. The best players in the class, it was Jeremiah Love at 84, Arvell Reese 81, David Bailey 81, Caleb Down. He was the other top five talent. I kind of assumed that. It's a pretty good class. I don't want to look too deep because I'm probably going to use this class again. I don't want to spoil myself, and knowing me, I'll probably forget anyway. So, all right, getting into the off season, I'm definitely going to do training camp so I can get some of our normal dev players better chances here. So headed into the second season, Sadiq is already better than Gesicki, which was a good call there. Yoshivas is the number 3 wide receiver. Elijah Surratt. I almost want to put Surratt in the slot. Surratt in the slot. That might be a good idea, actually. And then defensively, hopefully Barrett Carter takes that next step up. We have no Sam linebacker, so I'm gonna move Miles Murphy to Sam linebacker so that he can start. I know he's an edge rusher. It's not gonna hurt. He's already a bad overall anyway. As long as he doesn't go down to like a 50 overall or something, he's gonna be fine there. So we'll move him to Sam linebacker so that at least he can play. We have 100% scheme fit on defense though, because we are probably going to trade Boye Mafe. I want Zane Durant to start number 2. Actually, hit me with a little generate best lineup type of thing, just so I can get everything figured out. Okay, so I still want Zane Durant to start at number 2 defensive tackle. Boye Mafe is probably going to get traded so we can start TJ Parker. I'm going to move into right edge. We'll move into right edge to Reg. And then we'll trade Boye Mafe. Get him to start. We're looking good here. Hopefully the offensive line takes a step up. But if we go to specialist, the slot is going to be Jamar Chase, which is interesting. I think I want it to be Elijah Surratt and then probably Yoshivas. I want this to not be... I don't want this to be Boye Mafe. I want it to be Miles Murphy because Boye Mafe is going to get traded. And then... I think everything else is good. What can I get for Boye Mafe? Probably nothing too crazy. I wonder if I can get another defensive tackle, maybe? Or maybe a Sam linebacker. We don't have to worry about... We don't have to worry about what's-his-face anymore. But what can I get for him? Boye Mafe gets Grady Jarrett, Dorian Strong. I probably need to get an offensive lineman. Let me try to see if I can work a package for some sort of offensive lineman. Preferably a guard. What kind of package can I get? Probably nothing too crazy. Preferably somebody with a dev trait. Ooh, Dominic Pooney. He's a classic trade piece. Although that's going to be a little bit more difficult to trade for. Can I give you Isaiah Foskey? Nobody wants Isaiah Foskey. And then what else can I give them? Then they need a center, so do we. What about if I give you Catrell Clark? Okay, that doesn't really do much. It's going to take draft picks. It's going to take draft picks, unfortunately. We did grab that other second-round pick from the whatchamacallit trade. What did we trade? Oh, Jonathan Allen, when we picked up the Kool-Aid McKinstry trade. That's right. But if I give you a second-round pick in 2029, that gets it into the yellow. And then if I give you a third-round pick and a fourth-round pick, you say yes. Boom. Dominic Pooney, welcome aboard. And we didn't give up that much. We gave up a little bit, a decent amount, but we didn't give up that much. So we add in Dominic Pooney to the offensive line. That already looks a little bit better. And then we need to make sure that everything here is good. So Parker's starting there. Need to make sure that Zane Durant is at number 2. And then we need to go to the specialists and make sure that Yoshivas is second. And then Elijah Surratt is first. There we go. Murphy and Parker. Hopefully Murphy can take it and start doing stuff. Maybe now that he's getting some reps. But I am going to go through training camp and do that. I'm going to do Parker Brailsford. I'm going to do probably Elijah Surratt. I'm going to do all kinds of different things. Hopefully we can get some depth chart increases, but I'm going to simulate the second season. I'll do the second real draft class with like Jeremiah Smith and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, we'll probably just use auto-generated from there. But we're on the path to building a good defense. It's still going to take a little bit, though. I'll see you at the end of season number 2 with the results and hopefully a playoff team. Year 2's done, and we are starting to build something here. 11-6, we make the playoffs as a wildcard team, so my prediction was right that we were hopefully going to be a playoff team. 3 teams out of the AFC North make the playoffs. Joe Burrow leads the league in receiving yards. That'd be kind of impressive with passing yards, and he also had 40 touchdowns. I wonder if that's going to be good enough for MVP this year because Josh Allen did not have 40 touchdowns; he had 35. Very interesting. We'll see what happens. Very, very interesting. Let's take a look at stats though. Full team stats. We had 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns, 3 picks. That's got to be MVP for Joe Burrow. Got to be. Absolutely got to be. Chase Brown did a whatever season. We don't really care about running backs. Jamar Chase had 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns. He really was to be Offensive Player of the Year this year. What did Puka do? What did Pookie do? Puka had 800 yards. Oh my God. What a bum. What an absolute bum, Puka. Puka Nakua did nothing. Embarrassing. That's T. Higgins numbers right there that he put up. Elijah Surratt, though, had 12 touchdowns. Putting him in the slot was a good idea. Kenyon Sadiq had 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then defensively, we had Barrett Carter with another 150 tackle season. Demetrius Knight was up there. Dax Hill. Okay, we're seeing some good things. Chris Jenkins Jr. had 13 tackles for loss. The sack leader was Shamar Stewart with 13. I want to see that. I want to see TJ Parker put up these kind of numbers. Let's go, TJ. That's a nice 1-2 punch right there. And then 2 interceptions for Turner. Not a lot of interceptions like we had last year, but that's fine. It's fine for now. How did Zane Durant do? Only one sack, 3 tackles for loss. Okay, so he must have got bumped down again at some point because he didn't play that much, or he played a lot and just didn't do anything. But if we go to the sim, are we going to win a playoff game here against Bosif Nix and the Broncos? We do win. W's in chat. Let's go. I'll take it. And Zane Durant got an upgrade point too. Now we take on the Ravens in their place. Rivalry game. Can we win that as well? Oh, we won that as well. We are playing in the AFC Championship against my New England Patriots. And I will jump in because I jump into AFC or NFC Championship games and then the Super Bowls, obviously. The fact that we're here in the first place is kind of insane. The Patriots are 87 overall. We're 88 overall, but we've got the better team. Let's go prove that and go to the Super Bowl. An AFC Championship from Foxborough would give me new life if that happened again. I would love that. I hope that's what happens, but we'll see in the future. I don't know. Patriots are not allergic to spending money, but they don't like to. At least not on players that make a lot of money. We'll see if we can get this done, though. We got to pass the Patriots. Jamar Chase with a great juke move. We got to get to the Super Bowl, play whoever's going to come out of the NFC side. We'll hit T. Higgins there. T's going to be able to get the first down. We'll call a timeout. We got 3, so we'll use one of them. 16 seconds remain in the half. Yoshivas is coming in. We're going to hit Yoshivas quickly. He goes down immediately, get the timeout. That's perfect. That puts us in guaranteed field goal range. But I'd rather have a touchdown to tie and not a field goal in this half. And I think if I lob that in, oh, Bobby Spillane played that really well. I thought if I could put that in the right spot, it would get over his head and it would be a touchdown. But unfortunately, I don't think I put it in the right spot. Got to get that away. That's going to be Kenyon Sadiq up the field. Look at Kenyon Sadiq go! And I got to call a timeout there. 4 seconds remain. I can't kick a field goal from the 5, can I? I mean, I got to go for this. It's got to be as quick of a ball as I've ever thrown in my life. T. Higgins wide open. T. Higgins get in the end zone. He's in. Touchdown. He got rocked. I thought he was going to fumble for a second. but he does end up tying. That was a super risky move. We're up 14-7, by the way. 17-7 in the fourth quarter. Do they not have what it takes? I don't think they do. 20-7. It's over. The Cincinnati Bengals will play in the Super Bowl for the first time since they lost to the Rams, and that was 2021? 22? One of those years they played in the Super Bowl and lost to the Rams. I can't remember what year it was. One of those years. I think it was 21, but I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. It could have been, that could have been the Chiefs year, and then the year, 22 might have been the Bengals. Whatever. There's really no way to know. But we go to the Super Bowl. That's all that matters. We're back in the Super Bowl. We've built a good team with an offense and a defense. We're doing things right. And I was right about Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's going up to an 87 already. Let's get to the Super Bowl. Figure out who we're playing. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? It is the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course it is. It had to be. It had to be the Philly Eagles. Okay, Surratt's already up to an 82. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? We put him in the slot one season. He's already up to an 82. He was a 72 when we drafted him, I think. Or 73, something like that. But it's time to play the Super Bowl. Can we win this? Our job's not going to be done if we win this Super Bowl because we still need to make a really, really good defense. But we're getting there, and a Super Bowl would certainly help that. It's the Super Bowl. Eagles, Bengals. We need to win. We don't need to win. I'd like to win. It's not the end of the video if we win this game. So I would like to win this game, though. I'd like to have a Super Bowl in the trophy case. First Super Bowl in team history. Bengals have played in a couple Super Bowls. They played in a couple in the 80s, I think. And then obviously they played in one in the 2020s. Ooh, triangle's open. I didn't see that until it was almost too late. It's Elijah Surratt. Touchdown, Cincy. Let's go, baby. Elijah. W's. But the Eagles get another field goal. You're not going to beat us on field goals, Philly. Field goals are nice. Not in the Super Bowl, though. Handoff. Chase Brown's got blocks. Look at Chase Brown go. He spins off a tackle. He's down to the 9. Timeout called by Philly. They can't handle the motion in the ocean right now. We are going cray-cray. I'm going to hit Elijah Surratt. No, I'm not. I am still going to hit him. Oh, my God, it didn't work. I pressed the button, but he didn't register. I think I pressed it too quickly. And then I panicked, and I still threw it. Thankfully, he caught it. Ooh, Elijah's open. Elijah Surratt. He's almost in the end zone. Timeout called by the Eagles. That's the final one. Can we punch it in? They got a very daunting interior here. I don't really know if we can get this. Maybe. Possibly. Chase Brown trying. He's denied. It's 4th and goal from the 2. And they're calling me a little man. Oh, that's sad. Well, I was hoping we would already score, but Jamar Chase absolutely torched. Is that Cooper DeJean? Cooper DeJean's not my lover. It might have been. I think we had a turnover. The Bengals or Eagles score a touchdown. All right, this is getting a little sketch balls. Oh, but we turned them over. Then we turned it over. Oh, my God, it's going back and forth. They have the lead. It's a field goal for the Eagles to give them a 1-point lead. It's one turnover in the game, and it's us in the sim, unfortunately. There's Kenyon Sadiq. He's going to break a tackle, get 2nd and inches. We need to make this the last possession of the game, I think. Can I do that? It's going to be pretty tough. 3 minutes to go. We're going to try. This is McGowan. I don't know who this is. McGowan with a run. Who the F is McGowan? I thought it was going to be Chase Brown getting that. Some random bum named Zach McGowan with one leg ends up with that play. Joe Burrow's got to scramble here. Stay in bounds, Joe. You got way more yards than I was expecting. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Joe Burrow's got a little bit of speed. He's deceptively quick. You wouldn't think that Joe Burrow would have a little bit of motion with the legs, but he does. We've taken us to the 2-minute warning, so at least that part of it's done. But now we got to figure out a way to run this clock down. We could win with a field goal. That is always a possibility. But I'd rather just win with a touchdown. But the touchdown might be more dangerous because that gives them more chances to take the lead back and get the football. They have all their timeouts, so they can play this really well if they want to. And they're probably going to call one right here, and they do. They've got into a third down. They've done enough to get us in a tight spot here. I wish they wouldn't have stopped us there. That's a quick throw. Jamar holds on, first down. Jamar Chase just saved the Super Bowl for us. If anybody's got me, Jamar Chase has got me. Handoff, Brown. Final timeout used by Philly. But Chase Brown, all he needed to do was line it up, and I think he did. So now I think I'm just gonna savor the moment here. We're gonna play for the field goal. Unless Chase Brown breaks this, which I don't think he will. Oh, he kind of does. You know what? Don't go in. All right. That's perfect. That is pretty much perfect. We're gonna take this down. We're gonna run another play. And then we are going to kick the field goal. Or if we go in here, I don't think that we would, but I guess it's a possibility we could win this, or we could score a touchdown here. Let's snap it here. Handoff. Brown. He's not going to get it. First down would have been amazing, but we don't get the first down, unfortunately. We will kick the field goal. Almost panicked there. Almost with the accelerated clock. We will kick the field goal. And we will win this game. This is huge. It is up, and it is through. 17-15. The Cincinnati Bengals have won the Super Bowl for the first time in team history. But that is not where this video is ending. Just because we won a Super Bowl does not mean the rebuild is completely done. We want to build the best defense in the league. Or one of the best defenses in the league. Oh, there's the Gatorade color. Did you get it right? Did you bet on it? You degenerate. All right. There it is. Super Bowl in the bag. We've made Joe Burrow. We've given Joe Burrow a better reason to stay around, that's for sure. He's now a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and maybe the league MVP if they give it to him. If they don't want to snub him. A little snubby snub for Joey Joe. All right, let's see if he actually is the MVP. We'll go to the season recap and figure that all out. I'd give the Super Bowl MVP to Jamar Chase, but it goes to TJ Parker, and Joe Burrow wins MVP of the league. Well-deserved. Devontae Smith and Myles Garrett are the players of the year. Malachi Fields and Reuben Bain are the rookies of the year. But TJ Parker gets the Super Bowl MVP. Good for TJ. That's probably going to give him a good amount of XP, I would assume. All right, we'll upgrade all of those guys, and then we can take a look at the team because I want to see some dev trade increases, possible dev trade increases. What are we working with here? We got nobody on offense, I don't think. I think everybody's still the same. Oh, Elijah Surratt. He's up to star dev. W! Absolute W. And then on defense, we've got Miles Murphy up to star, Barrett Carter up to star. Zane Durant stays at normal. That's okay. But those are two massive ones. Okay. Things are happening. We're an 89 overall defense now. Things are happening. We could always improve this. We could always upgrade Zane Durant even more. If we wanted to. Do we have any retirements? I doubt it. No, we didn't have any retirements. Okay. All of our old guys already got done. Travis Kelce I just saw retired. I think I was blocking it with my face cam, but Travis Kelce retired. Okay, headed in negotiations. We have a ton of money, which is weird because we're paying Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow a lot of money. I'm surprised we have any money, but we want DJ Turner back. That's pretty obvious. We'll get him on a 5-year deal worth about $10.5 million with $11.5 million salary or bonus, and he's going to return. That leaves us with $101 million. We need to accept the option on Marius Mims. We do probably want Jordan Battle back, even though we can most likely upgrade him at some point, whether it's a trade or not. I might actually trade him and see what I can get. I do want Chris Jenkins back because he's one of my good defensive tackles. He's going to return. I may be able to trade Jordan Battle for another safety that might be better. Andre Yoshivas, we don't necessarily need anymore now that we have Surratt. Chase Brown we need back because I don't really want to have to work for another running back, so he's fine for now. He's going to return. Okay. We have $73 million. We need Orlando Brown Jr. back because I have no other option at left tackle right now, so we need Orlando Brown Jr. back until we figure out what we're going to do left tackle. He's going to return. Yoshivas, Samaje Perine. You know what I just realized? If we go to the player card for Jarrett Stidham, Stiddy's got a player face now. They gave him. I wonder if they did that because he made the AFC Championship. He started the AFC Championship game for the Broncos. He's got a face scan. I don't remember Jarrett Stidham ever having a face scan. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he had one. He just didn't have the flowing hair like he does now. But I feel like he didn't have a face scan before. I could be wrong. But I don't remember. I don't remember having one. All right, so we got everybody back that I want back. All these other guys can kind of just kick rocks. So, actually, you know what, Stiddy? Where you at? I'll give you another contract because you got a face scan. That deserves more money. So, you can come back. All right, so now we have to decide what we do with Jordan Battle and Andre Yoshivas. We don't necessarily need him, Yoshivas. He's cheap. We could bring him back just for the lulz. I might do that actually. Let's just bring Yoshivas back. We don't necessarily need to have a fourth wide receiver. Oh, never mind. He wants to go to free agency. What's the tag? The tag is $39 million. Good Lord, absolutely not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade the two of them. Probably not in the same deal. I might be able to maximize the value if I can trade them separately. Can I trade Jordan Battle for another strong safety? Just can we swap strong safeties? Hufanga, Grant Delpit, Tyke Smith is X Factor? Really? Okay. Sick. But the Buccaneers have absolutely zero money, so that's not going to work. Cam Bynum. Probably going to be a little bit harder to trade for. Who's the option here? Who is the option at safety? Brian Branch got re-signed. I was kind of hoping he'd make it to free agency. I mean, obviously Kyle Hamilton. That's rare. The Ravens actually re-signed him. Usually he makes it to free agency, but the Ravens actually re-signed him. Jonas Sanker might not be a bad idea. And Nick Amanawari obviously would be a crazy good pickup. I think one of these two might be my option here. Let me try Amanawari first. I can trade draft picks if I have to, because we're not going to be going that much further into the years. So if I trade a first-round pick and Jordan Battle for Nick Amanawari, that's only going to get into the orange. Okay. What about if I give you Samaje Perine? That's got to put it. Okay. I was hoping that would put it a little bit further, but you know, whatever. And then they need a wide receiver. Unfortunately, we don't have a wide receiver number one that they would want. We do have Mike Gesicki, though, who's very expensive, and I don't really want him anymore. So you can have him. And then I could give you one of my 2 second-round picks. I think I'll give you my other second-round pick as well. And that's going to get it to the green, to the neon green. What about if I give you a second-round pick the year after as well? That's going to get it done. That's a very expensive trade, but Nick Amanawari is going to help this defense out a whole heck of a lot. And then our other trade that we're going to make is trading away Yoshivas. And I don't know if I need to trade for a wide receiver. I mean, I could. What's his trade value here? Not much. Okay, that's not a promising sign. Who can I get? I don't necessarily need to trade for another wide receiver. You know what? Maybe I trade Yoshivas alongside Brian Cook and get a better free safety. That could be something. Where did Caleb Downs get taken? I think Caleb Downs is going to be a strong safety in real life. Here he is. I think he's going to be a strong safety in real life, but in the game, in this draft class, they have him as a free safety. The Vikings can't trade for him because they can't take on the money. That kind of blows. So Caleb Downs is not going to be an option. Brandon Jones, maybe? Antoine Winfield, but the Bucks have no money. Why does Juan Thornhill look like a priest? Nick Cross might not be a bad one, but he's got no dev trade. I'd prefer, if I'm going to do this, I would prefer to get somebody with at least a star dev, maybe a superstar dev, but there's Javon Holland. We had the chance to trade for him earlier in the Jonathan Allen trade, so I wonder if they value him that much. How much do they value Javon Holland? Not that much, actually. We could maybe get this. I don't really have much else I can trade. That's into the yellow. I guess I could trade my draft pick next year. My first round pick. First round pick for Javon Holland seems a little crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. So Yoshivach and Brian Cook go away, and Javon Holland comes in. That helps the defense out. Two new safeties to this roster. Parker Brailsford is now the starting center. Maybe that gets upgraded. We need to get another left tackle. I forgot about that. But yeah, the defense now looks crazy good with Amanawari and Holland. And then these two guys are getting better. Demetrius Knight and Miles Murphy. And we've got Kool-Aid McKinstry now. Okay, defense is coming along strong. Let's get to free agency, and maybe we can add even more talent. I don't know who's going to be in free agency, but maybe there's going to be even more guys there that we can add to this roster. You got Zay Flowers, who has 10 offers. Michael Wenyu. Michael Wenyu's not bad. I wish Michael Wenyu wanted to be here. He wants to be top on the depth chart, and because we have Dominic Pooney. Okay, we might be able to cheese the system here a little bit. If I make Dominic Pooney a center for the moment, oops. If I make Dominic Pooney a center for the moment, oh no, well, yeah, okay. So here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna make Dominic Pooney a center. We're gonna offer what's his face, Michael Onwenu, and then we're gonna move either what's his face or what's his face to center, and then have Onwenu play guard. One of the two guard positions. I think that's gonna help us out. So we'll overpay slightly, but we'll pay Michael Onwenu that much money. Hopefully he accepts. If he doesn't, then we'll have to think of another game plan. Kobe Durant has really his normal dev. That's kind of interesting. Why does he want a franchise quarterback? He's on defense. Marlon Humphrey at 84. Kobe Durant on a 2-year deal doesn't necessarily make me that upset. The overalls definitely help out. Ooh, Trenton Simpson, though. Trenton Simpson. Does he play? He probably plays over Miles Murphy if he does. Do I really want that to happen? I don't know. And then maybe Leonard Williams for a 1-year push. Can't afford him. I might be able to restructure, though. Let me restructure a couple of contracts here. Probably Joe Burrow. All right, so we've got expensive contracts. We'll restructure Joe Burrow. That's probably all we needed to do, but I'll do Jamar Chase as well. Okay, that's a ton of money now that we just freed up. I could probably even go after Zay Flowers now, but let me first get an offer on Leonard Williams. Let me get a 2-year deal. And then we'll offer him that much money. And then can I even get an offer on Zay Flowers? I could possibly. Maybe he'd accept this. I don't know, though. Probably not, but we'll try. I mean, why not? Getting Zay Flowers would be pretty sick. So these are our offers. We will go through and we will evaluate. They all signed, and 3 out of the 4 signed with us. So we don't get Zay Flowers, but we got the 3 guys that I really wanted. And Flowers goes to the Bears. Duh, Bears. Okay, so we get all the people that I actually wanted. And we help this team out a whole heck of a lot. And you know what? I'll probably just keep Pooney at center. Why not? I was going to move Fairchild in, but might as well just keep Pooney there. Works the same. And then we are now on offense really, really good. And on defense, we are really, really good. Yeah. Offense is looking, or defense is looking really good. We're a 91 overall. We're going to simulate another season. And I'm hoping that our defensive ranks are in the top of the league, because that is the goal. That is the goal, to make the Bengals a really, really good defensive team. Hopefully we can do that. But now with our draft picks, we managed to keep both of our second round picks. Let's see. What do we need? We need an extra. We need a left tackle. That's right. So maybe a Jordan Seaton. I'm not really sure. I'm not as familiar with the players in this class. I know a few names, but I'm not super familiar with the players in this class. We don't need a quarterback. We could use a running back, but I don't think a running back is top of mine because Chase Brown's going to be able to get it done. This draft class still has Ryan Williams at a top 5 player. Maybe he can turn it around in season 3 for him, but I don't think he's a top 5 talent anymore. Maybe he is. Miles McVay, Carter Smith. All those guys have good agility. Maybe Carter Smith is the final guy that we need to get. He could be a nice backup plan, I guess. We need to figure out where everything is going. So mock draft number 5 has Jeremiah Smith going number 1 overall to the Vikings. Sometime in the future, I will do a rebuild where I end up with Jeremiah Smith. It doesn't really happen for me, but sometime I will do it. Dylan Raiola to the Jets, maybe he's the savior. Jordan Seaton's going to go 8 to the Washington Commanders. If I'm going to take anybody in this draft class, it probably has to be Jordan Seaton. They have us taking Zach Clayton. How do I get up to 8? I've traded away all of my assets, I think. That's the problem. I could throw Orlando Brown into the deal. But how do I get up to number 8? The Commanders have it. What are they asking for? What's the price? They're asking for T. Higgins and a first. T. Higgins and Chase Brown. Or a Manowari and Javon Holland. You're asking for a little bit too much, I will say. Just a little bit too much. Oh, we didn't. Oh, that's right. I traded the second round pick. It was 64, wasn't it? Okay, so they need a running back. I have Taj Brooks. I don't really have any other. Oh, it's Seth McGowan. That was the running back that came in on that play, that one play. I'll throw you Taj Brooks, and then I'll probably have to throw you Orlando Brown Jr. as well. That doesn't even get it close. I don't really have anything else. I've traded all my assets away. How do I do this? How do I get this pick? I could trade them Chris Jenkins because we still do have Zane Durant, but I could trade them Zane Durant, I guess. That doesn't do it enough. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to have to ride with whoever's there. I traded too many of my assets to be able to get that trade done. So number 1 pick in the draft should be Jeremiah Smith, and it is well deserved. He should go number 1 overall next in real life. All right, so final pick. Julian Sain went to the Panthers, which is kind of crazy. So we do see Jordan Seaton going 8 to the Commanders. What's on the board for us? Lenore Sellers. We don't need that. Offensive tackles. So the other guy that I scouted is also gone, which is just great. Oh, that's tight end. Never mind. He's okay. He's still gone. What do we have here? What do we have here? I don't know. 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 We don't need an edge rusher. We don't need a defensive tackle, even though these two guys look like they're pretty good. We don't need a linebacker. I think I'm going to stick with the guys that we have. Corner in the first round is not where we're going to go. Safety. Just, you know what? Have the CPU do it. Have the CPU do the whole draft. They'll probably draft somebody. Maybe they'll draft somebody pretty good. You never know. You never know. Okay, let's see what they took. They took a 76 overall left tackle, so Zach Clayton ends up being a 76, which is not that far off of what Orlando Brown Jr. is already. Then they took Sammy Brown. They took Jambres Dubar, which is a crazy guy name. And Malik Murphy as well. I am familiar with Malik Murphy. What is Zach Clayton? What is he all about? Hidden dev. All right, maybe they cooked. Maybe they cooked a little bit, CPU. Do we smell what they're cooking? Possibly. All right, going into year 3, we already have a Super Bowl. And we already have a really good defense on paper. Yeah, he's already a 76. Brown's a 78. If we give him a couple of skill points in the training camp, he might just be a higher overall already. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. The offensive line's good. Offense in general is done. We don't need to work on anything else. And then the defense, they're going to start Sammy Brown over Miles Murphy. All right, maybe, sure, why not? I don't really have a opinion either way about it. It's fine, I guess. This defense is a 90 overall. We need to, for this video to be done, we want to see the Bengals defense in the top half of the league when we get all said and done. So I'm going to simulate this whole season. I'll see you at the end of the regular season with hopefully some really good news about this team and this defense being some of the best in the league. Okay, so we finished up the 3rd season. We make the playoffs again, 12-5. Not too shabby, not too shabby. But the real thing that we care about is Joe Burrow puts up 5,300 yards. Oh my God, another MVP season incoming for him. But the thing that we care about, we have the best offense in the league. Do we have the best defense in the league, though? No, we had the 28th best defense in the league. Why? No, okay, that sucks. Our defense sucks, apparently, even though we have a high overall. 5,300 yards, 48 touchdowns. That's another MVP season for him. Receiving wise, Elijah Surratt's going crazy, by the way. Jamar Chase, 3 1,000-yard receivers. Oh my God. Absolute insane numbers. Defensively, Barrett Carter did really well. Tackle for loss leader, Leonard Williams. Sack leader, TJ Parker with 18. Oh my God. Interceptions, a lot of numbers. Love to see it. But the main thing that we care about is the defense, and they did not simulate as well as I needed to. Maybe the Seattle defense isn't the move. Because I feel like we have the players to be able to get this done. Never mind. We lose in the first round. We lose in the wild card round. All right, we got the Super Bowl. It doesn't really matter about winning the Super Bowl at this point. We're just trying to get ourselves this freaking good defense. So maybe we switch. What defenses simulate really well in Madden 26? The Bills defense I've seen do pretty well. Eagles defense probably does pretty well. The Niners defense, I would assume, does pretty well as they just make the Super Bowl. Elijah Surratt's an 86 overall, which is kind of crazy. If we just go over here to the stats, whose defense was on the top? The Titans? What? The Titans defense was at the top of the board with total yards. Really? The Buccaneers, the Ravens. Maybe we go Ravens defense. I may switch from Seattle to Baltimore. I may do it. All right, let's get through this next season pretty quickly. We're not going to spend too much time in free agency or in the draft. We're just going to go to the next season probably. TJ Watt retired, I just saw. Ravens win another Super Bowl. Joe Burrow gets another MVP, and he wins Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, it makes sense. He had a crazy season, so Joe Burrow's going off. But we'll probably go, hopefully, one more year to try to get this defense back into the right sorts. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's get to negotiations, because we're probably going to have to restructure a couple more contracts depending on who's here. So, negotiations. I just see Jahmyr Gibbs say he's not coming back. Accept the option on Shamar Stewart. Okay, there's some expensive players at the top of this list. So we're going to have to make some decisions, which means we're going to have to restructure some contracts. Jahmyr Gibbs is not coming back. If I can restructure the contracts enough to be able to open up that much money, that'd be insane. So let's restructure Joe Burrow. Let's restructure, not that. That's the wrong button, Juice. There we go. Let's restructure Jamar Chase. Excuse me. I'm so choked up about restructuring. Let's restructure DJ Turner, Dax Hill, and then Michael Wenyu, and that's probably going to be all that really matters. Maybe Jenkins, too. Let's do Jenkins. Okay, so that frees up a good chunk of money, $69 million. Nice. So that'll be enough to pay Kool-Aid McKinstry to get him to come back. I mean, we traded for you for a reason. So let's do that. And he is going to test free agency. All right. We'll probably have to franchise tag him, but we'll get Javon Holland back. We knew that we were going to have to pay him because he was on last year's deal when we traded for him, so it's not a surprise that we have to pay him. But we have to kind of overpay because he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't like us. So how about that? He's going to return. Okay. So we get one guy back. Dominic Pooney absolutely needs to come back. That's a guarantee. So we'll get Dominic Pooney to return on a deal like this, and he is going to return. Thank you. Appreciate that. Miles Murphy. I mean, at this point, Miles Murphy doesn't really need to come back because what's the franchise tag? 27.8 million. That's not that bad. Miles Murphy doesn't need to come back because we have Sammy Brown now. But I will offer Miles Murphy a contract because I do like him. I think he's fine. He's nothing special, but I think he's fine. He's going to return. Okay, so that's all of our money. We paid all of our money. We could afford to, we can't even afford to bring back Evan McPherson. I didn't know we were living in the poorhouse. But if freaking Kool-Aid McKinstry didn't get franchise tag, we would have been fine. So free agency is Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell. The Lions lost everybody. This the third highest overall player is Evan McPherson. That's kind of hilarious. I would have loved to go in on Jahmyr Gibbs, but unfortunately we can't do that. So let's just get to the draft. I'm not even going to probably participate in the draft because I don't care about it. All I care about is getting the best defense in the league. And I think the Ravens are going to be the way that we do that. So, you know what? Let's just simulate the draft straight up. We don't even have any draft picks, really. I traded all that stuff away. So let's get straight to it. Another season. Year number 4, I think, right? Year number 4. We drafted a bunch of bums with the picks that we had. Not surprised. We have a high overall defense. We just need that to simulate well. And I don't think the Seahawks defense, I mean, the Seahawks defense is getting us good numbers, but it's not simulating us as well as it needs to. So we're going to go to the schemes. We're going to make sure that we're in the right schemes. And we are going to simulate with a Raven defense. Or a Steeler defense might not be bad. I saw them do well. And the Niners just made the Super Bowl. But I'm going to put my faith in John Harbaugh and the Ravens defense. And hopefully that is the right move. If I could find them, I probably should have went the other way. There they are. All right, so we're going to try that. And we have a 90% on a 3-4 under. So that is what we are going to rock with. All right, and another season awaits. I will simulate to the end of it, like always, and hopefully this time I have better news to report, where we have developed into a top defense in the league. Elijah Surratt is a superstar to have, by the way. T. Higgins is an X factor. The offensive line's looking good. Clayton has gone up to an 82 overall. Always good. And then on defense, Barrett Carter is a superstar. Kool-Aid McKinstry is our highest overall player now. Well, this is kind of weird, but I like it. Sammy Brown's a freaking X factor? Really? That's insane. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't see how this defense can't simulate well. So hopefully we do the dang thing and we do this right. So I'll simulate the year, and hopefully I have better news this time. All right, the season is over. We went 13-4 and made the playoffs again. How's our defense look? We were 4th in opponents' points per game. I think that's pretty good. We did a lot of passing yards, but we were also 4th in opponents' rushing yards. So I think that's a top 5 defense, I'd say. I think I'd be okay in saying that. We obviously had the best offense in the league. Joe Burrow, 5,300 yards, 44 touchdowns. Probably another MVP season coming for him. And then we had 3 1,000-yard receivers again. Elijah Surratt with 21 touchdowns. My God. Going insane in this sim. Crazy. He was a 72 when we took him in the draft. And he was kind of a throwaway pick. TJ Parker with 14 and a half picks. My God. 14 and a half sacks. 13 sacks for Sammy Brown, which is a good pickup. And then interceptions, Amanda Worry had, or Aman Worry, whatever his name is, had 3, 2 for Carter, Holland, and whatever. Okay. So I'd say that this defense has certainly been giving Joe Burrow some hope. We win that game against the Raiders. Can we beat the Texans as well? No, we do fall in the divisional round of the Houston Texans, but I think it's safe to say we have accomplished what we needed to do by giving Joe Burrow some hope and giving this defense a makeover, making them one of the best defenses in football. Let's go to the Super Bowl and figure out if there's going to be any dev trade increases, because I would not be shocked if our man Elijah Surratt is a X factor when we get to the Super Bowl. It's the Saints and the Patriots. We could have had a rematch. We could have had ourselves a good old-fashioned rematch. All right. It's time to see the final results. What are we working with here? Depth trade increases and the final roster. Elijah Surratt is an X factor. Offensive line looks fantastic. We gave Joe Burrow two extra weapons. We gave him Elijah Surratt and we gave him Kenyon Sadiq, and an offensive line that's not bad. And then on defense, we gave him Sammy Brown. We gave him an upgraded Barrett Carter. We gave him Leonard Williams, who retired, but he was here. Zane Durant. Corners are good. Three unbelievable corners. Ahmad Wari, Javon Holland. I mean, TJ Parker. I'd say we succeeded in giving this Bengals team the makeover that they needed on defense, and they end up with a 94 overall. That's got to be one of the best defenses in the league. I think we're good. That's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel for more, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.